Clarity and confidence, so enormously important for running and leading a business and creating a very high performing, awesome team. Because what happens when we're unclear and lacking confidence, it has a massive impact on the team around us. So today I want to dive deep into clarity and confidence. So let's look at it. Why? Why does clarity and confidence matter for you? Now let's look at what clarity is exactly. It's that clear pathway, it's that knowing. So many women that I work with, and it's been 10 years now working with women in leadership, they come to me feeling really overwhelmed and confused. It's like there's a massive forest out there, but they just can't see that tree. They can't see some of that specific stuff that needs to happen. And often it's because this is cluttered, there's way too much going on. It's about really knowing your vision, knowing where you're headed, and a clear purpose around it. The confidence comes with it because we need those milestones. We actually need to have that sense of achievement in order to be able to feel confident. So that comes with time. There's also lots of ways by mastering your mindset. And that's one of the chapters of the Accelerator program. And I will dive into that a little bit because it's by using some of these chapters of the Accelerator program that I've really come to discover that the clarity and the confidence thing is at the core of it. That's the core, I guess, of where things are missing. Because if you have clarity, what happens? Okay, what do you know when you have the clarity, what can happen? Or maybe in your case, if you haven't got it, what's happening? Because sometimes we know what we don't want, but we might not necessarily be able to articulate what we want really well. Okay, so let's have a look at it. So let's think about it in this sense. If we have the clarity, what will we have, or want to have, or not? Okay, we'll have a pathway. Okay, we'll have one focus, or in some people's case, more focus, which is better than less focus, isn't it? What else would you have if you had clarity? Sense of knowing. Okay, the big one people always say to me is relief. Okay, relief. It's a huge sense of relief when you can actually know where you're headed and have a sense of clearness around that. You can see the forest for the trees. So let's actually, put a few trees in here because it's about that. It's about knowing then, there's a pathway through these trees and you know where you're headed to go on it. Okay, that's really exciting. Now, when you don't have clarity, the big thing for women in leadership, particularly wanting to grow and develop thriving businesses, that is when that pathway is missing or that sense of clarity is missing, there is often massive overwhelm. Okay, there's a lot of doubt. The big one is indecision, is really, really rife. So what that means is there's a lot of procrastination going on. So we'll put the big P word, okay? Don't think I need to write the whole thing. You know that one, the procrastination, when you know what to get on with, yet you're just sitting there, you might email away, you might spend your day locked at the computer instead of being on the phone talking. You might ignore those conversations with team members that you know you need to have. They need to be had. They're tough conversations, but that's sometimes where you're out of your comfort zone and you're not clear enough to be able to have some of those tough conversations. So that causes a little bit of procrastination. What else happens when we don't have the clarity? We're missing, I guess, that sense of confidence. Okay, so let's just put the lack of C comes in here, and then once we lay clarity into it, once we've got it, the confidence can come. So some people kind of expect, well, I'm just going to be confident, act as if. Act as if can help, certainly. There's a lot to be said for the Wonder Woman pose. Big fan of that. Turning your, we call it turning your eye on, where it's being more influential, more charismatic, more of a people person. If that's your gap, a stretch that you need to work on. But confidence comes when you actually take some steps and put things into practice. When you've had a tough conversation, you've learned from it, you've grown from it. It was uncomfortable, absolutely, but life is about getting out of our comfort zone. If we stay in our comfort zone, there's no growth, okay? We're either green and growing or we're gonna end up ripe and rotting. And when there's a lack of clarity and confidence, so let's put that in now. When we have that, we're green and growing, okay? When we haven't got it, we're gonna be potentially stagnant or going backwards, which ends up rotten. So It's really important to focus on getting clarity, and it might be as simple as one specific project that you're working on. It might be about one particular team member that you've got on the team currently that's not a match. So it's like, how do we mutually part ways, you know, in a great way that you feel resourceful about and comfortable, in a good way that you've led with ease and grace. It could be that you need to fire up the business. You know, you have a growth, you want to bring new members onto the team. Perhaps you want to be actually working with more clients and customers, patients, whatever your business and industry is, it's about growth. Okay, and growth comes from clarity and it comes from confidence, because in order to grow, you really need to know where you want to head and have a very clear vision in mind. You then need to lead with purpose. Be really purposeful about your day to day, about your week to week, month to month, year to year. And then of course you need to perform at peak, because if you're not at peak, you end up with a low performing team. And it is really reflective of the leader, because if the leader's not at peak, then your team certainly can't follow. So if you would like to know more about creating a high performing team, please use some of those worksheets, implement, and then get back in touch with me.